Good evening, loves, and welcome to a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of Kiana, Pearl Poetry. How are you guys doing tonight? Now you know how I like to get it started with these books. Good evening, Brian. Thank you for joining. How are you doing tonight? All the books are available on Amazon. Deepest Thoughts by Lavina, Expressions by Lavina, and My Dirty Little Secret. Good evening. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Brian. Good evening, Divine Wordsmith. How are you doing this evening? Good evening, Sheila. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. We're waiting for our guests to get into the building. I hope all is well, and I hope you guys have had a super fantastic day today. The weather is beautiful. It's not too cold, even though I like it when it's cold. It doesn't make a difference to me if it's 20 degrees or 50 degrees. I love the cold weather. So, we're just waiting. Oh, you know what? Let me send my guest an invite to let her know that we are ready for her. 1 second. Here we Okay, invitation is sent, and we'll just wait for her to join. Oh, okay, so this holiday season, I ate a little too much and gained a couple pounds. Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of Kiana, Pearl Poetry. Welcome, darling. How are
Well,
you doing?
hi. I'm happy to be here. I'm good. How are you?
Good. You look absolutely beautiful. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
So do you, as always.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, say hi to the people that are in the room.
Hello, everybody. Hey, everybody that's here already. I'm glad y'all are tuning in. Thanks for coming.
I love the little accent. Too cute.
Oh my goodness, stop it.
Well, I'm going to read, and then you'll understand why she has a little accent. I'm going to read some of your bio, sweetie. Kiana Pearl Baker, 27-year-old. She's a 27-year-old poetess from Jacksonville, Texas, currently living outside of Dallas. Kiana has been writing all of her life, but only recently decided to start sharing her work. She writes to heal herself and shares to hopefully help to heal others. Kiana's other passions are music and makeup. So, you guys, that's where that accent comes from.
Stop. And it's so funny that you say that because I find myself kind of trying to hide it just a little bit, or,
No.
I just want to make sure that I sound proper, of course. But then when I watch myself back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could not sound more Southern, but it's okay.
I was going to say, don't ever hide who you are, because all of that, when you bring all of you to the party, honey,
Right.
it's a on
Absolutely.
fire. You
Absolutely.
know?
I
Yeah,
agree. So I'm giving
yes.
up on that. It just is what it is. So,
Good, good. That's what's up. Now, darling, my first question is, what does poetry mean to you?
oh, wow. So we're starting out like that. Oh, my goodness.
Or we can start off. Wait. We can back it up. I
No,
can.
that's fine. I love that question. That's
You
fine.
do? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Poetry for me is it's really my creative outlet. It's my escape. It's my release. Um, it's how I heal through things. I mean, it's everything to me. It's my passion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What prompted you to start sharing your writings? And please tell us about your passion for music and makeup.
Sure. What prompted me to start? I've always been a writer. I didn't start sharing until about maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It was during the pandemic, and I don't know if it was something like, how when you're not able to do something that kind of makes you want to do it. I'm one of those people. So when I couldn't go out and do things as far as like the open mics and the shows, it really made me start looking into everything that was out there. And then also a lot of opportunities and platforms came available online and virtual. So that was honestly one of the things that really pushed me to do it, because
Okay.
I'm a really shy person.
Oh.
And I feel like it was kind of like a stepping stone between actually going on stage and
Mm-hmm.
performing to a crowd, being able to do it in the comfort of my own home. I really think that that's one of the things that gave me the courage to actually start doing it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
So
that's
I'm
great.
I'm grateful for that.
Okay. That's awesome. Now, I'm gonna back up just a tiny bit. You said you've been writing all of your life. How old were you when you first started writing?
I've really written for as long as I can remember. I mean, since I was able to read, I've always loved books. Anything to do with literary arts, I've always loved it. And so I
That's
always remember writing. The only
mhm.
thing that I really remember significant, I used to journal every day when I was young.
Okay.
And I remember I was really small, maybe like 7 or 8. My mom
Hmm.
got me a journal with a lock on it. I don't
Okay.
know what it was about that. I don't
It,
know if it's because I felt like I had privacy
mm-hmm.
or what it, but I remember that that's when it really took off. And so I like to journal every day anyway. But I noticed that I like to make it rhyme and, kind of play with words. It's always just been a passion of mine. So
That's awesome.
really for as
That's
long as
awesome.
I can remember.
Yes, and privacy will have you come out of your shell when you
Right,
can write and not
exactly.
know
Yeah.
because
So,
parents, we're nosy. We're gonna
yeah,
go peek
right.
and see and
And there's
you know.
nothing wrong with that. You kind of have to be a
Yeah.
little bit these days. You have to be aware.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I understand that,
Definitely.
but yeah, once I got that, I think it really just took off.
Okay. Okay. Now tell us about music and makeup.
I have always loved makeup, anything beauty related. I love
Hmm.
makeup, hair, and I know you can relate to this because you always talk about how much you love fashion and shoes and jewelry,
Yes.
all of
Yes.
that. I love all of that.
Mhm.
And that's
Yes.
one thing that I love about you. I mean, because I feel like your style, I love it. The outfit,
Thank
the hat,
you.
it's always immaculate. I love it.
Thank you. Well, that's something that runs in the family. My mom used to dress my sisters because I have older sisters. And when I was little, there used to be commercials. I remember this one particular commercial. It was a commercial.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, the models in it. I was like, I want to be a model when I grow up.
Hmm.
And when I told my mom, she said I was too short.
Oh
And I'm
no.
and I'm not tall. I let me tell you something, honey, but I can dress tall. Look,
Hey, I hear you. I
but
understand. I'm all of
but
5'2". Okay, I get it.
that didn't yeah, it didn't stop me. I've always had a love for fashion, for clothes. Oh my
Hmm.
God, I'm like my friends know you want to just make me happy, just buy me a piece of clothing or a piece of
And
jewelry,
that'll do
and
it. Yeah.
honey, that will do it.
I'm the same way.
Yes.
And then as far as music, I think in so many ways music really goes hand in hand with poetry, because I believe that great music is poetry. As far as song lyrics and things like that, and even the melody. I mean, so many of those
That
things
rhythm.
both go hand in hand. So I
Yeah.
think that's a given. I've noticed that a lot of poets and artists that I know, they're also music lovers, and it just makes sense.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly.
so I'm one
Exactly.
of those as well.
Yes, because poetry, it's the rhythm. Because every
Right,
poem, everything we write, it has a rhythm to it. Just like life, is everything is so connected.
right,
And
hmm,
and it's like when you find a rhythm of a thing, you just allow it to flow. And
right.
it could flow long, it could flow short. When you just go with it and ride it out, it is absolutely beautiful.
Right, exactly. And it's
Mhm.
melodic, just like music is. So absolutely. So
Exactly.
I love both. I'm a lover of both.
Now, do you sing?
No. Do I sing? Yes. Can I sing? No. That's two different things.
You sound like me. I'm like, no, I can't sing. And people think I can when they hear me speak. I'm like, oh no, honey, you don't. let's not go there.
You do have a beautiful
God,
tone of voice. You sound like you would be able to sing, absolutely. So I don't know
no,
if I believe you that you
but
can't.
I'm serious. I'm serious. God had a whole nother intention. So I'm going with his intention
And
because I did want to sing. But let me tell you, one time I was in church. This was so
oh goodness.
and I was sitting in the front row and the praise I'm friends with I was friends with the well, I am friends with the worship leader. And she and it's like they had a worship team. So it was like six people on the stage. And they're singing and and I'm singing with them and she kept looking at everybody, on the stage, her team, and she
Uh-oh.
kept because and it was me after she told me when she finally realized it was me on her off.
Did she single you out?
No, 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 no. She
That's
didn't.
good.
After church, she came. I mean, after the service, it was so hilarious. I was like, oh my God, it was so funny. So no, I don't. I sing in private,
Right.
and around my close friends who, and family who know me. I'm like, I'll
Me
sing.
too, me too, me as well. And that's okay. That is okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, enough chat. Well, for now, for the second, enough chatter because it is time for you to bless us with a taste of Kiana,
Okay.
please.
I'm excited. I've been waiting to hear you say that with my name too. I love it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of Kiana, Pearl, Poetry.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody here and everybody that's watching. I see some familiar names. So, hey, Quiet Kid. Hey, Luscious. I hope you guys are doing good. I think where I want to start, I have a piece called Time. It's one of my favorites. It's about missing my childhood. I just had a birthday as well. I just turned 27. So,
Happy birthday.
thank you. So it's kind of been on my mind and on my heart recently. So I think I'll just start there.
Okay.
Time used to taste so much sweeter, but the aftertaste is getting more bitter. Every sundown, I guess growing up can be one hell of a come down when you forget to appreciate the high. I miss the moments I mourned while they were still passing by. The seasons have flown past, provoked and fast, like the red wasp under my grandfather's pear tree, but with a sharper sting. This taught me my mama's kisses can't heal everything, but it was a beautiful notion to believe in. Didn't time used to look so much prettier? But in its aftermath, I feel ugly most days. And the healthy ways to cope are either harder to find, or I've lost them between all the weed smoke and wine. I'm not sure of anything more than I miss the memories. Time used to welcome me warmer back then, but there's no warmth like heat rising from a concrete slab playing foursquare with my cousins, or warmth like the flesh of fresh watermelon I ate right off the vine, barefoot and beaming, spitting seeds into the dirt. If I was aware of half the hurt I'd have to swallow someday, I would have clutched them in my cheeks a little longer. Naivety was worth holding on to. Better believing monsters were only in my head than to realize that they're real and don't hide beneath beds. They are bold and will sleep right next to you. They'll have sex with you and tend to let their ego hog the covers. I've learned that it's your lovers you should be the most afraid of. When did time become this tricky? Simple meals have turned into math equations. These calories counted for nothing back then.
Mm.
But these days are different. Didn't grandma used to praise me for finishing my plate? But now instead she makes comments criticizing my weight almost every time I see her. I want to remind her I've had a baby and I am not one anymore, but it would remind me that I'm a single mother. Of how time has turned tables I can't excuse myself from. Tables set with placemats for my insecurities and my anxiety. They are dinner guests I didn't invite.
Come on.
It doesn't feel right to say grace anymore because I can't ask God to bless those parts of me. I don't pray in peace anymore.
Mm.
But my
Mm.
conscience is more cluttered than ever. There are no empty spaces left for me to kneel in. And this world ain't a healthy place for anyone to heal in. Time is teaching its truth to me. I'm just a pupil of regret. So please excuse if mine are dilated or if it's drug related. Because how I've dealt with my depression is complicated, but I've learned to never make the least of time's lesson. So I'll encapsulate every second like fireflies in mason jars when time burned brighter, and I will save their glow for later. That's that piece.
Miss Kiana. Wow. That piece was awesome. It spoke so much for you to be so young, you know.
Thank you.
It's a blessing, and it will definitely, I'm sure somebody needed and will hear that and will just be blessed by it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because people tend to think that young people don't go through anything,
Yeah.
and um, that because they see, you know, young people smiling and partying and doing this, that all is well. When they don't understand, you smiling and partying all the time because things are going on.
Right.
And I
Mm-hmm.
can speak that because I was young once.
Right.
But and honey, I stayed at the club
Uh-oh,
trying to
did
dance
you?
away. Trying to dance it away. I'm trying to tell you. And I needed the music loud because I needed to feel it.
Right.
I wouldn't feel what I was going through. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, but that's awesome at this age that you're able to share it and speak it. Because at 27, honey, I was nothing nice. You
Oh,
know,
wow. Really?
you're able to release it and speak it and transform anger and hurt and depression into love and creativity and writings and bless somebody with that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That is a blessing. You are blessed, young lady.
Mm-hmm.
You are blessed. Don't let
I
anyone
agree with
tell you
what you
different.
said too about people's impression of young people sometimes.
Mhm.
I think we all have our own traumas though, and we just have to
Yes.
know not just how to express it, but what we can do that's going to be a release or an escape.
Yes.
And so that kind of just goes back.
Yes.
That's what poetry is for me, and we really all need that. So because we do
Yes.
all have our own issues. So
Yes. It's a cure. And
right.
that's
Mm-hmm.
what that offers when we because when you recognize something is hurting or we need help in the area and then we cry out and we ask for it and we receive the healing, now it's
Right.
time to guard the healing and
Right.
pay attention so we don't go back in that direction. So honey, God is going to use you, yes, because it's needed in this for young. It's always been needed for young people,
Of
always,
course.
you know. And a lot of times young people don't want to hear from more mature folk because they like, you don't know what I'm going through. When
I am not one of those young people, but I
no,
think that
I'm
there
just
are plenty
saying,
out
you know what I mean. So they're more apt to
there. Right. I completely
receive
understand.
and learn from you. So it is definitely a blessing to hear
Right.
what you had to say,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm sure that we're going to hear a little more. But I do have another question.
Okay.
You have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, has she inspired any of your writings?
Absolutely, she does. But I'm actually working on a piece right now that's dedicated specifically to her. Um, it is a work in progress. I've actually been
Mhm.
working on it for over a year.
Oh, wow.
And every time that I really sit down to work on it, I'm really overcome with emotion, because how do you really express the way that you feel about your child in a piece? Um, it's hard. And it's something that I'm working on for sure.
That's awesome. I'm
Hmm.
sure that you're going to do just fine in that area
Right.
because you don't, seem to, it's not a lack of words.
Mhm.
It's just choosing the right ones,
Right, exactly. But
really
other than
honing
that,
in.
that's coming. But I really think, I mean, she inspires my poetry just in general. I know one thing that I did start to dwell more on after I had a child was, you know, of course, I want to nurture any of her talents and any of her interests that she has. And it would be more difficult to do that if I was not doing that myself, you know, because when I had
Exactly.
my daughter, I've always been a writer, but when I had my daughter, I hadn't written for probably about 2 years. I took about a 5 year break.
Hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, when I had her, I just recently started back, and she really inspired that altogether because, you know,
Hmm.
hard for me to want her to use her talents and her abilities and just nurture that without her seeing mama doing the same thing. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
But look at God, because she's already fulfilling purpose just being in your life.
Right,
You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
so
Hmm.
yes, it's gonna. I'm telling you, when it starts to unfold, you just gonna be like, because I'm blown away with. I have a 19-year-old son, and he's an artist, and he well, in school he writes. He doesn't write poetry at this moment, but the teachers, the instructors, rather aren't impressed with some of his papers that he hands in.
Oh,
So,
wow. Hmm.
but art, drawing, anime, all of that is his passion, and I push him and encourage him and support him in any and every way I can,
Right.
and it is just tremendous.
Hmm.
Um, Watching him, and talking to him and sharing with him. So you're in for a real treat
I'm
having a child.
sure. I'm sure.
It'll definitely be a blessing. You and can I take this moment to thank some of the guests I see? Mr. William Washington of One on One Poetry. Thank you for joining. We appreciate it. Carla Jean, thank you for joining. Pam, cousin, thank you for joining, sweetheart. I appreciate it. And if you see any of your guests in the comments, please give them a shout out.
Okay. And I actually see my brother just joined in, Ronnie. So, hey,
We like that family support.
that
Yes,
is,
yes,
yes,
yes.
love it.
And I want to mention it, Mr. One on Poetry comes on weeknights at 7 p.m. You guys check him out. He has a great show also where he interviews guests and allows them to share their work also. Now, Miss Lady, please give us another taste of Kiana.
Okay. Um, this one is called Deadling. Um, it is about the power of your words. Um, and that's something that I feel like I'm realizing more and more every day. And sharing my poetry has been a beautiful experience. And it kind of is what inspired this piece. Language is a lethal weapon. Words hold enough weight and resistance to pull a trigger on their own. But with an unsteady hand and a throbbing temple, I aim with my tongue and through my teeth. Spit bullets because I've been bullseye. Been at the bottom of my own barrel, know what it's like to be hollow and pointed. How heavy it feels to wear a full metal jacket until it's worn down to a rusted vest. My chest is an empty shell casing. My heart sits on my sleeve, exposed without cover. I tiptoe through my own thoughts like a minefield, not knowing which one will rupture my breathing before I can dismantle it. Which demon will detonate before I've managed to handle it, before I've stopped long enough to bleed them out in black and white. But when I write, the ink is invisible. The pigment of my pen comes from the soft soot of the fires I've put out with poetry. Just a felt tip dipped in my running mascara that isn't so waterproof after all. Language is a living thing that can give birth and be born, be deadly, but have the power to resurrect and resuscitate, to tranquilize or stimulate, all in the same breath, the same motion. Your words are your seedlings. They can blossom and bear fruit that nourish people from your palms, or be weeds that will choke them when they swallow.
Mm.
They sprout the same in courtyard gardens as they do in the cracks of cemetery concrete. Surrounded by death, they still breed. They are your offspring that never dies, will breathe above ground even after you don't. Stay engraved into memories even after you won't. Our sentences are sacred like scripture. So I will speak Genesis and write my revelations, sharpen the end of my pen and the edge of my tongue into double-bladed knives that are only deadly when necessary, since words kill, but they can also save lives. That's that piece.
Now that was so nice.
Oh, I got
Oh yeah, I
two.
got to do it twice.
Yay. Let's
I
go.
love that poem. Yes.
And I cannot
Swimming.
say that piece without giving a shout out to my Deadly Pen family over at Deja Vu Open Mic, spoken word poetry. I just want to give a shout out to them. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are so many poets and artists that I admire and love so much that are that are affiliated with the Deadly Pens that have spoke so much. What was that?
No, I'm listening to
Oh,
you.
okay. Anyway, what they spoke so much life into me and gave me so much validation as a writer, and that is one of the things that did make me start to realize how powerful your words really are. And so that's what inspired that piece. So I just can't recite it without giving a shout out to them and telling them how much I love them and appreciate them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yes, pay honor to whom honor
Mm-hmm.
is due. I'm definitely down for that. You
Right.
know.
And so
Um,
Deadly Pen is what inspired the title of that piece, which is Deadly. So,
okay. Yes, yes, yes. But it's and people really need to know about the power of their words,
mm-hmm.
and what they're speaking on their own lives and against others, not even intentionally,
Right.
just generally. And so yes, words, they say it either gives life or takes life.
Right.
So
And what
we
you
will
just said, I
definitely
just want to bring out that point. You said what not just what you're speaking into your own life and others, but I think a lot of times when people hear about the power of your words or speak life or no negativity, they think about the words that they are saying to others. But we also have to remember the words that we say to
say,
ourselves, because when I started realizing that, I realized how much negative self-talk like I would have towards myself throughout the day.
mm,
So that's something that I'm working on as well. But I just wanted to bring that out. I love that you said, not just what you say to other people, but what you speak into your own life, into yourself. That is just as
exactly,
important that's positive because it can
exactly.
still be so powerful. So,
Yes, yes, yes,
mm-hmm.
definitely. And I'm not even gonna go any further because I'll start getting into how we are gods. We
Yeah,
create or destroy,
that is
so
so
it's
true. That is so true.
yes. Now, this is a little fun time of the show. I asked 3 questions pertaining to my books.
Okay.
I want one of your deepest thoughts, one of your favorite expressions, and one of your dirty little secrets. And the dirty little secret, you don't have to share, it's just for fun.
Okay.
But one of your deepest thoughts, and then your favorite expression, and one of your dirty little secrets.
Yeah. Okay. One of my deepest thoughts. One of my deepest thoughts, and I don't mean to be morbid when I say this,
Mm-hmm.
but one of my deepest thoughts is when I'm not here anymore, what am I leaving behind? That
Mm-hmm.
is one of the things that I think about, one of the thoughts that haunt me a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important that we all think about that, especially now that I have
Mm-hmm.
a daughter. I worry about what that will be, and I want to make sure that that is something positive. Absolutely.
Yes, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And young lady, look around. You're leaving your legacy.
Right.
Those words. So you're on the right track.
I would hope so. I'm trying.
You're on the right
I'm
track.
trying. It's hard some days.
Yes, and girl, don't hesitate for a second to give God the all in all.
Right.
God, I need some help. I need some guidance. I need some leadership.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But for
Mhm,
my daughter, I want to leave a legacy behind. So every day I think about what that's going to be.
mhm.
And yeah, so I think that would be my deepest thought. As far as my favorite expression, that's kind of a hard one because there's a lot of expressions that I love, of course.
Mhm.
But to keep it simple, I'll say again, I love the saying "speak life." I know it's super simple and it's only 2 words, but
Listen, let me tell you something. That's your deepest. I don't want you to solve the world's even though I am going to ask you a question in a little bit about the world, but I don't want you to solve like the world how to keep or get rid of or you know what I mean? So when I say your deepest thought, I'm just saying something that's special to you, something
right,
that means something to you, you know. So don't ever think that when you interact with me that you gotta try to be something or think of something clever or no. I
right,
just
okay, I appreciate
I
that.
just want you. I just want your thoughts. That's what I'm after. When I bring the person on, I want that person. I'm just after them, their thought, their goal, their focus, their
Right.
heart. That's
Hmm.
what I'm after. That's
I
what, because
I
that's
love
what
that.
people hear and see.
Hmm.
Okay.
I
And give me one of them dirty little secrets, girl.
Oh goodness. Let's see what I can share without oversharing.
Well, now
At
one
least,
person came on and told me how I think they set something on fire in the kitchen and the grandmother covered for them. So it doesn't, like I said, a dirty little secret. It doesn't have to be anything like scandalous. It could be one poet, she shared how she wanted her and her husband, when she gets married, to role play, on their honeymoon. So it could be something you might have did when you was little that you shouldn't have did, like you wrote on the bathroom wall.
right, something like that, something
Yeah,
light. But you know
nothing.
what?
Just to get them to know. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with one of my first thoughts on that actually. And it's nothing lighthearted, but hey, one of the first things I thought about is that I can be very insecure, extremely. I have people that will compliment or comment sometimes on how I show up on the lives and these virtual shows
Mhm.
because I always try to have my makeup on, my hair done. I
Right.
try to
Right.
have everything in place if I can. And I think they say it as a compliment, but sometimes in the back of my head, I think, well, only if they really knew I'm not comfortable showing up any other way, you know. And I don't want to go too deep into that, but that was the first thing that popped into my head. So, and when people say that to me, I say, well, you never know who's watching, and you don't. That's very true, and I mean that when I say that. And this is my art, this is my passion, so I care about how I present myself. So I don't care. I'll get ready for 2 hours to be on live for 15 minutes. I do it all the time. And that's
Listen,
fine, but it's deeper. It's deeper than that, it really
Kiana,
is.
I'm going to tell you, um, you might think it's because of the insecurity, but it's really God pressing upon your heart because presentation is everything.
I agree, and I truly believe that, so that
And
is
I'm
absolutely
telling you,
part of it. Hmm.
I tell people the only time you will catch me performing without a hat, a fedora hat, is like when I'm with my family. They might be like, "Did you not do a poem?" Because we're around the fire or something. And when I say that, this literally happened. We were around, it was like in the autumn, my
Hmm.
nephew, around Halloween, the fire pit is gone and, they want to tell stories. And they're like, Auntie, tell her, give us a poem.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do it in that
Just a
setting.
casual setting,
But
right?
honey, when I'm out and about, it's on and popping. And
Absolutely.
you might get it if you meet me. If someone, if I'm conversing with someone and they say, "Well, what do you do?" And I'm like, "I write poetry. I have 2 books out. Blah blah blah." I will spit a piece because that person they'll end up going to Amazon and purchasing a book.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I will spit a piece in that instance.
Mm-hmm.
But if I know I'm going online or I'm performing live,
Absolutely.
oh,
Right.
and I always love to dress,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I remember going to church and the sisters, I come out the bathroom, they like, you about to get jumped for them shoes.
Right.
I'm like, okay, let me get out the bathroom. No, so I'm like, and I just, like I said, it just, I have a relationship with, these things with my
Right.
clothes.
I completely
Because
get.
they say something about me, you
Mm-hmm.
know. No, I don't go around like this every day because I will not go walking to exercise. Or
Right.
if I'm
Mm-hmm.
going out with my friends, I won't wear a fedora hat. I look really cheap now. You know what I
Right.
mean? I
Of
put on
course.
my gear. But now we going somewhere, and I know I want to, because
Absolutely.
yeah, I just call it the. I'm like, oh, it's on. Yes, I had that going on. Like I'm the flyest honey in the
Absolutely.
world, and I believe every woman should feel like that about herself. Because
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm saying. I do it to feel good about me.
Right.
You know what I
I
mean? It's just,
completely relate to that. And I can tell that about you. That's one of the things I love about you. So, but I
thank
try
you.
to, as far as even, whether it's on live or just because it's virtual, I mean, I try to show up the way that I would in person. I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
if I had a feature in person, I know how I would look. So I try to do the same, if even if it's virtual.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. So yes, I'm really, really glad. And you're beautiful. Honey, do your thing. I just love it. I love it.
And I
Now I'm
will
trying
admit,
to.
just saying that since that's my secret,
Mhm.
I, since we just said that, I have to also say, shout out to the women who are able to jump on these lives and, present their art wherever they are, in their natural state. When I see a woman, she has no makeup on, her bonnet on, or her hair not done, um, I see so much beauty in that because you're in your natural state and you feel comfortable. And that's something that I envy some days. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but at the same
Mhm.
time, like someone just said in the comments, presentation is everything, like you just said. So, both sides,
And you know what?
I
And the thing is,
sides of that.
everybody might not also, they might do it because they don't have the same purpose and goals that we do.
Hmm.
So if
That's true too.
I know, because I also know I'm called to speak and to
Hmm.
encourage and to build and do certain things. So it was just presented to me by God in that way.
Hmm.
If it wasn't a call on my life, honey, y'all might be
Go
like,
about
oh,
it differently,
no.
right?
Because as a matter of fact, my other page, honey, on my other page, oh, honey, I'm just in my look. I do little exercise to encourage people. I might post something about food, or I might
Hmm.
be outside walking and post a video. So, because I'm just in it's the everyday life, and I want to just encourage people or whatever. But when it's my professional, when it comes to the professional and the purposeful part, it's on and popping.
Right, absolutely.
It's on and popping.
As as
So
as it should be.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes, it's on and popping.
Hmm.
So that's awesome. So I believe. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think if I'm going to ask this other question, or would you be able to give us two more poems if I ask this question first?
Yes, I would love to. Absolutely.
Oh, great, great, great. Okay. Well, my last question of the night is: if you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
If I could change one thing in the world, that's a hard one. Oh my goodness. Where do I start? Um, if I could change one thing, you just mean completely in general?
As long as it pertains not just to you, like if it was maybe a law or um, if it was something concerning children, something um, concerning like the elderly, if you could change something about religion, one
Oh
thing.
my goodness. Something I would change about the world. I can't narrow it down to one thing. There's no way. But something that I would change about the world, one thing. um, like you said, when you said religion, that kind of just rang in my ear a little bit.
There you go.
I think what I would do is take a lot of the organization out of religion, because that's something that, let me just say, what I believe in is spirituality. I'll say it that way. More so
Mm-hmm.
spirituality than religion. And I think if we took some of the organization out of it, which is really nothing but division, like the Bible says,
Mm-hmm.
more people would be able to come closer together and closer to God if we took that out of the equation. And I think that could be life changing for everybody. So that's what I would probably say. That's one thing I would say.
Excellent. And
And
you
I
know,
say
I
that
need to.
coming from just a little bit of background. I say that coming from a pretty organized religion, a very organized religion. My family were Jehovah's Witnesses as I was growing up. Um,
Oh,
so that affected me a lot, of course. So, yeah, that's what I would say. I would say for people to focus more on spirituality.
you know, I when I went over to was thinking about what kind of questions I wanted to ask you.
Hmm.
I knew you could handle them because when you said you posted that you watched Mr. Witt's last week,
I
his show,
did. Oh, wow.
and for you to for you to be blessed and to understand and everything he said and to see it was
Hmm.
powerful. I was like, oh, she can handle these questions
Yeah, and it's
because
hard to
you're
go
not.
after that because my goodness, he's so pro. Shout out to him, seriously, because
Yeah, don't feel like you're coming after because remember he's walking in his purpose.
right, of
You're
course,
walking in your purpose.
absolutely,
And that's how we gotta see things because there's no competition. And I don't like
that is
competition.
very
You
true.
won't see me competing in
Right,
on any platform where they're having, because everybody brings their gift in themselves to the table.
right.
Everybody is unique and different
Hmm.
and beautiful and wonderful, and powerful. So
Agree.
I didn't want you to, but I knew you could handle what I was
Hmm.
asking because
Right.
you're a mature 27-year-old,
Hmm.
and that's not to say that somebody that's not as mature as you wouldn't be able to handle that. But I don't know. I just sensed something about you that you were ready for the questions I had to ask.
I
So
appreciate that. Thank
yeah, yeah.
you.
So yeah, I appreciate you and thank you for coming on the show. But ladies and gentlemen, because I need you to speak to them again because some people have come in and they didn't get to hear a couple of your poems that
Hmm.
you performed earlier. Welcome to a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with a taste of Kiana, Pearl, Poetry.
This next piece is pretty much my newest one, and it's called Normally. I'm just going to get right into it. I tell him I don't normally do this. The words curdle in my mouth because their truth has expired. I wonder if he'll taste it when he kisses me. Spoil the memory before he ever misses me like I do normally do. Unwrap myself too soon. So why would he stay until the holiday? I've already gifted him the goddess in me. Gave my decency away at a discount for the smallest amount of effort from you. So tied up in tempting you to chase me that I forgot to run. To remember not to rush before it's too late. My intention was to wait. I just didn't know that I was worth it well enough to convince you. I've learned that personally I can't take off my clothes and not expose more than just my body. My skin peels back as if it's stuck to the fabric. My guard loosens its grip like clutch sheets on the bed. So when he pulls out, it doesn't pull him out of my head. I didn't mean to get so tangled into you. But the truth is, this is what I normally do. A habit I let sneak into stone. A stone that skips across your faults like they are underneath water. You'll never love me the way I'd want a man to love my daughter, but my standards for her have never lived like they're my own. They lay just low enough to keep me lying alone. Remember when you spent the night and said you should have went home? I'm sorry that you didn't sleep well. That you were restless while I rested on your rib cage when you told me you weren't ready. I didn't care because I thought I'd change your mind. Almost lost myself when I couldn't find the reasons that I couldn't. So I searched for them in the mirror. Such a self-destructive cycle. To try to outrun lessons I've already learned in the Bible, but they chase me. Even after ages. When its pages don't recognize my face anymore, I still can't ignore that they're familiar. Taught me that my body is my temple. To never welcome men who don't intend to worship, those who come bearing no offering, no sacrifice, no peace. But I've made shrines of them in my sanctuary, to be honest with you. This is exactly what I normally do. But what's worse is that I've always known better. That's that piece. Goodness.
You already know. Honey. That, I hope that every young lady from age 5 to age 30 get to hear that all over the world. Because I'm telling you, it's so needed. How precious our goddess is, as you call her.
Absolutely.
Very much so, you know. So, and I pray that you would be able to communicate with your daughter, that she would understand it and guard herself, and that she would also bring that man home to be held accountable.
Right.
Because I think that's important. That we need to bring these men home that we're dating. If you don't have a mother or a father, there's uncles and aunts and cousins.
I completely agree with that.
People accountable. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, because I've made that mistake of not doing that, and looking back, I see how much trouble that may have saved me. So,
yeah. So yes, you're honey, you're in for, you got a call on your life, and just continue to see it through and ask God for guidance and leadership, and ask God, what's next? What should I do next? Where should I go next? You know, in order for me to continue moving in the arena and the purpose that you have for me, because you definitely have purpose and a message, and it needs to be heard and told by you.
Thank you.
Because nobody's going to tell it like you.
I appreciate that.
So please bless us with another poem.
Okay. If you don't mind, let me grab my paper that I left over here. Just give me 1 second, okay?
That's fine, sweetie. And thank you, all the people I see joining and coming in. Okay, she's back.
I am back. Let's see. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so did you say one more?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And then I promise I won't ask for another one. I'll just ask you to just say some encouraging words before we close out the show.
Okay, sounds good. No, you're just fine. I'm really.
In the room.
What's that?
Apologies. I said a couple of other people came in the room who didn't get to hear.
Sure. And hey, everybody that just popped in, I'm going to get into another piece. This one is called I Can Tell. I can tell it's been a while since anyone you've encountered hasn't robbed you of a mile every time that you sacrificed an inch. I can tell, because when I reach out to hug you, you damn near flinch. You've been battered. Your spirit is bruised. I know you've been abused and sick of always being shattered by the people who mattered the most to you. I can tell because you won't let me get close to you. I can never convince you that I only mean well, because no one in your past ever has. I can tell that you're broken. I've been trying to control your bleeding, even though I've never cut you. Been scarring myself just to prove that I love you, and lately it just ain't been worth it. I'm fighting your demons, but not saving either one of us. The skeletons in your closet are alive and wear your clothes. You hide behind them when I'm reaching for you. Your trauma is sitting at the tip of your tongue and is always speaking for you. So your translation of me is wrong, because your wounds are as wide as a language barrier and gaping enough for you to lose me in. If you trusted me enough to take your eyes off of me, your toxicity is just too much for me. I can tell your love is war-torn, because you stand in full armor, breastplate across your chest to protect your heart, but the steel can't tell real or rivals apart, and you can't feel anything behind it, much less recognize love when you find it. So what good is your guard doing you? I've been trying to break your wall down, but your bricks are none of my fault. And your affection is mortared through them until it feels more like assault, and I can tell that you will never be worth it. I've been fighting your demons, but I can only save one of us. What's that piece?
Honey, the end of that poem, always choose to love yourself more. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And whew, that was a powerful piece. I like that.
And as far as that ending, when I wrote that, I didn't even know that it was going to end that way. Sometimes you just come to realizations, I guess, you know, as you're writing through poetry, and that's one of the beautiful things about it. So
yes, definitely. Definitely, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, please, before you leave, give the people some encouraging words.
Absolutely. First of all, I just want to thank anybody that tuned in. Thank y'all so much. I just want to say, whatever your creative outlet is, whatever your escape is, never stop doing that. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned so far. And so I love to say that and just tell other people, whatever that is for you, make sure that you never stop doing it, that you always stick to it, because we all need that, and it's just really important.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress, coming at you with the taste of Kiana Pearl's poetry.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's been beautiful. It's been encouraging. It's been inspirational. It's been fire. Yes, and healing, because I'm sure some people are going to heal from hearing that. So thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And this will be also posted on YouTube and Facebook also.
Okay, great.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you again to everybody that watched, and I hope everybody has a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. This has been a totally awesome show. And next Tuesday night, we will have Nikki Speaks Volumes. So thank you very much. Please tune in next Tuesday evening at 10 p.m. for a taste of Lavina, Poetic, Empress. I'm coming at you. Good night, loves. Thank you.